Hey everybody, Jamming Outdoors here. I want to talk about where we went, what worked and what didn't work today. Today we went to Lake Timpson up at Timpson, Texas. It's a couple hours away from here. Not too bad a drive, pretty lake. Anyway, so let's talk about what didn't work first. Sinkos was no-go, didn't work today. And square bill crankbaits didn't work either. So I had to switch gears with the water clarity and everything, with it being clear. I switched to a black and blue, a jig. Seemed to be the best bait of the day. Caught most of my fish, caught the quality of the fish, caught the big ones. It didn't matter what kind you used, whether it was football, swim jig, pitch and flip. It didn't matter as long as it was black and blue. And then I paired it with a Reaction Innovations Sweet Beaver. I'll show you what this looks like. You could bite it and use it as a chunk, or you could just run it up the hook. I did both just to experiment with it, but this was my presentation today that worked the best. And then this is the trailer I was using, the Reaction Innovations Sweet Beaver. Mossy mud color. Kind of a hard color to find. And then once I got away from the addiction of the jig, the fish started hitting shad on top of the water. So I switched to a Yellow Magic Tennessee shad. Yellow Magic in the Tennessee shad color. That's what it looks like, kind of gold on top, white bill on the bottom, and I switch all my middle hooks to a red hook. Seems to be what works well. And that was on a Castaway rod with a loose speed spool reel. And we took our Hobie Pro Angler 12 out there. Did pretty well. The wind was blowing out of the north. Not too bad. It used the Hobie Mirage Drive system. Pretty good boat. And it's a lot of fun to use. Anyways, enough with the talking. Let's get stuck in with the fishing action. It's cooking. Hey, we finally made it out there. It's fairly early before the sun rises. I was kind of anxious to fish this lake because of the survey report they had on Parks and Wildlife. It was pretty cloudy, so you can see the sun in the distance, but it's still dark. Finally get unloaded, and here we are, hung up on some trout line. Anyways, didn't start the day off good. Got out of that, sun came up, finally. Got retied and refixed and everything. I had casted near some duck boxes. There was a group of duck boxes on the east side of that lake in front of some docks, and it was about, 4 feet of water there. And when the fish hit it, he swam back towards the boat. So I didn't even realize he was had it in his mouth until I started to try to reel up my line. So had a lot of slack in my line. First fish of the day was actually a pretty good fish. Wasn't bad. It's 20 or so inches, somewhere in that 4 or 5 pound range. On that black and blue jig with that Reaction Innovations. Okay, here's another fish. This is in between two docks on that east side. As you look at my depth finder, I'm in about 5.5 foot of water on the edge of that dock. And he hit it twice, and then he finally came back around and hit it again. Another good fish. This lake was full of these fish. I was impressed with the survey report that they had on Parks and Wildlife, that it was producing these size fish on a consistent basis. Here we are fishing in the reeds. These are reeds that are around the houses in between the docks, still on that east side of that lake. I'm in about 4 foot and those reeds are close to about 2 foot. He hit it and started swimming back towards the boat. I didn't realize he was on there. He has it in his mouth, just swimming towards the boat and keeping up with my reeling. Kind of strange, but he finally realized he was hooked as soon as he got close to the boat, and I didn't have much string there to work with him or have much rod or room to get him up. So, but that was about 2.5 foot of water, pretty fish, another good fish. Right here, I casted near the base of a leaning oak tree. This is on probably the southwest side of the lake, and as soon as it hit the water, he just nails it. This is on probably that west side of the dam, or the spillway rather. There's a big field there, and there was a oak tree that was just kind of leaning out over the lake. That seemed to be pretty good little spot. Another decent sized fish. Happy with that jig. Wasn't too bad. And then right here off of a point, coming off of that a guy's land, that house right there, that land, and right there in that buckbrush, or that green tree or that green brush that's right there. And he hit it a couple of times, and then he finally put it in his mouth, and then he started swimming towards the bank really quick into shallower water. So you see right there, I was in 4 foot, and it just quickly shallows up to about almost see the base of the tree there. It's pretty shallow, so it shallows up pretty quick where he was at. Just a different depth change, I guess, is where he's at, but another decent solid fish. Moving on into that real shallow, see it's getting up to 1 foot, and that's where he took off towards. This one right here, this one was kind of weird. I casted near that dock, and I had a hit, and I didn't realize that he was still on there. Just kind of a weird deal. Trying to get away from that area, and I set the hook, and not sure what happened there. He must have came back and hit it again, or he just had it in his mouth the whole time, and then bam, he just took off. Nearly ripped the rod out of my hand, caught me by surprise. Another decent fish. It's off of that dock, and I noticed that it's only 2 foot of water. So 2 foot of water, it's pretty clear. The water temperature right there was probably about 62, 63 degrees. That was a nice fish. That same jig. That was still on the east side of that lake. And here we are on that west side, and we're fishing the dock wall in between those two docks. And I'm by the creek channel here. This is the creek channel that runs on the west side, middle portion of that lake. So I'm in 12 foot of water, and I don't know, where I caught him was probably 4 foot. Big difference in depth there. And it was another decent fish. Just continued to produce pretty good fish. These docks was the key today. A depth change, 4 foot to 5 foot to 6 foot to 2 foot, whatever your depth change was, there was going to be a fish there. There had to be a depth change though. I found parts of the lake that was just a constant 2 foot or a constant 4 foot, just didn't produce any fish. The areas where there was depth changes, see right here, I'm in 6 foot of water, and right there near that flat of that dock is probably 4 foot or so, and ended up getting that one. He hit it really soft, just barely hit it, but significant depth change. This is going more towards the middle part of the day, and this is on that east side again. Pretty fish, not as big as the other ones, but still a pretty fish. I casted near an open, and this is an open water. I'm in 2 foot, just testing out some things. There was just one lonely stop sticking up, and there was a fish on it. Just so happens there was a fish by the only stop that's in open water, that 2 foot, and he just nailed it. I mean, just completely demolished it. He wasn't very big either, not as big as those other ones. Still fishing the jig though. It's still in the morning time. It's getting close to time to eat, so forth. Time to eat some lunch. But that one, caught him on that. See that stop that's sticking out of the water? This is about 2 foot open water, and then I switched to a yellow magic, and they were chasing shad right up in here. So sure enough, he hit it. Hit that yellow magic Tennessee shad, chasing that shad that was by that brush. There was some sort of brush there, some sort of grass. I'm sitting here worrying about the stupid camera. Anyway, some sort of grass that he was hanging out in, but I could definitely see and hear fish chasing shad in that grass, and it's not very deep there. I mean, it shows me 1.5 foot, so I'm pretty shallow. Kind of crazy, but there he is. Not as big as the other ones, but decent size. And then this is at a base of a fallen tree. There's a tree. If you look at it, you can see the roots sticking out of the clay there, and the tree runs perpendicular with the boat straight on. And what amazed me about these fish when they hit this top water, they don't come out of the water and just nail the mess out of it. They just kind of swim up to it, inhale it, and go down with it. That's something that I noticed with this lake compared to other places I fish with top water, is they just kind of just walk up, go, swim up to it and just inhale it. So there's a pretty fish, not bad. Had a black spot on his gill. Anyways, here's some of the fish that I caught. I measured some of them. And you can see there's 22 inches and 18. Consistent fishes were 18. There's a 20.5 inch fish. There's 18.5. There's a smaller one that's at 16. There's one at 21. So we had some pretty decent sized fish. There's another one at 21 at 20.5. And another one at 18. So pretty good day. Most of these were caught on a jig. Some of these were caught on that yellow magic, but the majority of them, especially the bigger ones, were on the jig. Anyways, thanks for watching. Appreciate the time. It's been a presentation of Jammin' Outdoors.